So, NC State, now what?
Now you got to hope you can avoid this thing really spiraling out of control.
Okay.
And that's kind of where my headspace is for this season.
Mm-hmm.
We tried. We burned some candles. We buried some bottles.
Yeah.
We bought some herbs. We went out to Carter Finley. So that's on the jovial side.
So what you're saying is that it doesn't really matter if we use a dynamite curse reverse candle or bury whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm just going to say that we tried. I think, gosh, we know the players tried. I'm not going to say the coaches didn't try. Obviously, they poured this thing out, man. Mm-hmm. Something was wrong with this team. Something was off with this team even before Devin Leary's injury.
Yeah.
They were sloppy with penalties, procedural penalties. I don't know if they didn't practice the same way. I don't know if they went about their daily routine a different way. They just never really looked like the team that they were last year. I'm talking about with Devin Leary. I'm not even talking about Saturday's performance at Syracuse. Okay.
Yeah. NC State, I think this is a clear distinction too. As we've received more data as the season has gone on, this has been this is a consistency for the Wolfpack. They never really were able to kind of get out of whatever rut they seemed to be in.
They had moments in the first half against ECU.
Sure.
They had moments in the home game against Texas Tech. Moments. But there was no I wanted to see them breathe fire this year. I wanted them to show and be mad. Remember when we talked to Dave Doeren at the kickoff? We talked to Devin Leary at the kickoff and Drake Thomas. And there was this common theme of we're mad because we were denied our chance at the end of last year. And remember, when everyone came back, it was the Run It Pack hashtag. It was we're all coming back. It was one pack, one goal. Mm-hmm. And I just never saw that laser focus. I never saw that urgency. And now at 5-2 without your quarterback, and I'm telling you right now, those Wake Forest and Carolina games could really go sideways and turn the entire program toxic. It could really get ugly.
Toxic in what sense? Toxic with the fan base? Toxic in the program?
Fan base, the coach. We've seen this before.
Oh.
We've seen this before.
So it's Battlestar Galactica. All this has happened before and all this will happen again. I'll say this about NC State to kind of bring basketball into the conversation and how a lot of this stuff with the Wolfpack football program is cyclical in nature. What year was it that Cap Barber was at NC State for basketball under Mark Gottfried?
14 and 15 were the years where we got our first dose of Cat and his mom.
Okay, there we go. What did Cat Barber's mom yell from the where the parents would sit, which typically was behind where I would sit
right
for basketball games? Yeah. What would Cat Barber's mom yell at Mark Gottfried, the coach at the time?
Pam would often remind us the words to live by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scared money, don't make no money.
That's right. Scared money, don't make no money. And that's kind of been NC State football all season. I think that they could talk the talk all offseason. They could use what happened in the Holiday Bowl, how we were denied this historic situation and we're going to breathe fire. Here we are. But when the money was on the table, so to speak, suddenly they clammed up. Suddenly they got tight. This has been a consistency with Dave, by the way. That's why the Clemson win last year was such a butt-clenching experience. There was a lot of lemon booty in that one that took to overtime at Carter Finley Stadium. Because what did we talk about with that Clemson game? And we talked about it with our friends Kelly Gramlich and Eric McElwain on their podcast.
At home, Clemson down.
If you couldn't beat that team in that situation, then you got to go. And I think that's ultimately what's kind of hovered around NC State and Dave Doeren. Butts get tight. And when the butt clenching happens, you start to play really conservative. And you start to do what? What did I see on display all day Saturday against Syracuse? A team that was playing not to lose. You brought on Jack Chambers, a 25-year-old walk-on from Charleston Southern, and you felt
on an NIL deal.
On an NIL deal. You brought him on an NIL deal, and we're comfortable enough to have him be the backup to Devin Leary. Like you said, Devin Leary.
Smart move, actually.
You said Dave Doeren had a smart move. Okay. Well, you got to trust him to throw the damn ball. Okay? And it wasn't until they found themselves down a couple scores where they started to get with it. Look, NC State's defense was Jekyll Hyde on Saturday. As good as they were with the turnovers, that was because Syracuse was doing uncharacteristic things and trying to air it out. Like, trust me, every time I heard, because I was watching the game with my dad, and every time I heard Oronte Gadsden, I was like, am I watching a Dolphin game from back in the day? Wait, no, is that his kid? Holy crap.
We're old.
We are old. And they turned Oronte Gadsden into like his actual dad on NFL Sunday, which I was shocked by.
Hey.
Schrader was making throws that I did not expect to see on Saturday. So big chunk plays by NC State's defense, which was very uncharacteristic, and then they eventually broke down later in the game. They couldn't tackle the guy.
To me, it's not even about Saturday. It's really not.
No, Saturday. I think Saturday.
I mean, it could have been the coda for everyone else.
That's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at for Saturday is you want an encapsulation of NC State's season to date. It's scared money don't make money. They were afraid to lose the game, and that's what you ended up seeing until the third quarter or so when they started getting a little bit looser with it because they were put in a position where they had to start throwing. So you bring Jack Chamber to do what? Come on now. Like, let him throw it. So anyway, it's and I get why NC State fans are ultimately frustrated, and that's why I asked, now what with the Wolfpack? Because, Wake Forest and North Carolina are looming. Dave Doeren's going to have some job opportunities this offseason. And I think the best sentiment that I've seen from a couple NC State fans in my mentions, I'm going to paraphrase, but it reads like this. Really appreciate what Dave Doeren's done for the program. It's consistent. It's been at a level that it's never been in my lifetime because for me personally speaking, I was at the tail end of the Mike O'Kane era. I saw the flash in the pan that was the Chuckamato. I saw the reset with Tom O'Brien and how that fizzled out. The last 5 years under Dave Doeren has been pretty good. Clean program, develops players, fringy top 25, go to decent bowl games. They haven't cashed in on their opportunities. That's the biggest flaw. They just have not cashed in on their opportunities. So the State fan sentiment is, hey, man, appreciate all that stuff, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if you took another job and there's a refresh here for the next guy. Maybe you need a refresh. Maybe NC State needs a refresh. Because I get the feeling that this is kind of what it's going to be at NC State as long as Dave Doeren's here.
And that's where you say, now what? I think you're trying to avoid the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen NC State lose to Wake Forest in heartbreaking ways. But those last year, right, meant the difference between winning the division and not.
Yeah.
17 and 18, those losses were the difference between winning 10 games and not. 18, you were actually in position to get a spot in a New Year's Six Bowl based on your college football playoff ranking.
Yeah.
And they foiled you there. I am telling you, if Wake Forest comes in here on November 5th and beats NC State by multiple scores, whatever support is left for Dave Doeren is going to rapidly leave Dave Doeren. And we saw this with Herb Sendek at the end of his tenure. I don't think it'll be that toxic.
No.
I don't think it'll be that toxic.
No.
But I do think there are similarities there. And you mentioned maybe it is time that you think about what is best for me moving forward. Mm-hmm. Because the way college football is now, Joe, every year is a rebuilding year with name, image, and likeness and the portal.
Oh, yeah.
So wherever you do it, you're going to have to do it wherever you are.
You want to know how things can go so fast? I mean, look at Tennessee with Hendon Hooker.
Yeah. And look how quickly it turned around.
Yes.